If you're a working mother or mother-to-be who would like to strike a balance between caring for your family and succeeding in business, welcome to Mother Industrialist Live Show, where we talk about entrepreneurship, parenting, and life. Kenneth Chu, the show host, brings in a different guest every episode to share how to perfectly balance parenting and work. Today, more than ever, you can choose to live life on your own terms, to craft a future for yourself and your family that is emotionally and financially rewarding. So sit back and enjoy the show.
Hi everyone, welcome to episode 43 of Mother Industrialist Live Show, where we talk about entrepreneurship, parenting, and life. And in this episode, we're going to talk about how to survive and thrive in today's modern world as a mom. And also, I'm author of Mother Industrialist. This is my book. Okay, as you can see from here. In my book, I've interviewed 50 mompreneurs that I personally know in the past 10 years, and I've also featured their stories in the book to be able to empower more mothers to be able to step into entrepreneurship or pursue their passion. And at the same time, I also share in the book with mothers that there's 3 P's that you can use to kickstart your business, which is number 1, passion, purpose, and profit. And today is not about me, and today is about this really awesome mom that I've connected over the internet. And she's also a fellow author. She's an author of the upcoming book, You Got This Mom. It's a mother's guide to surviving and thriving in today's modern world. So without further ado, let us welcome Antonia. Hi, Antonia.
Hi, Kenneth.
Hi,
nice
good
to
have
be here
you.
Today with you.
You're welcome. And finally, we got you onto the show. It has been a while, and it's over there. It's a morning for you, right?
It is morning for me. I'm in Ottawa, Canada.
Wow. That's like another 12 hours before us, right? Before Singapore. Okay. So before we kickstart, like I mentioned to you, there's a tradition where every guest get to post a question of the day out to the audience and also to the next guest. So are you ready with the question of the day posted by the previous guest before we can officially kickstart the show?
I'm ready.
Okay, so the question of the day posted by the previous guest is, what matters the most to you and what gets you out of bed every day? Okay, I repeat again. What matters the most to you and what gets you out of the bed every day? So spend some time to think about it while I go on to Facebook Live to see if we are live successfully and if our audio are good to go, and I'll come back to you. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay, I see we are live. You can hear my voice. Now waiting for yours. Okay, good. I can hear your voice. And thanks for those who are coming on live and those who are listening. So, Antonia, are you ready with your answer to the question of the day?
I am.
Wow, that's fast. Okay, so share it with us now.
Okay, so what gets me up every day is knowing that I'm going to make a difference in somebody's life. So most times the person's life for whom I'll make a difference is going to be my son. My son is 12 years old, and every day I want to model to him someone who is caring and kind, and someone who is able to help other people in their lives as well.
Wow.
I'm also a teacher, Kenneth, so I work with children and I work with teachers. I'm an instructional coach for teachers. So when I'm working with them, I'm also hoping to make a difference in their lives so that they can make a difference in the lives of the children in their classroom.
Wow. So that is very inspiring, and also that is really what gets you out of bed and also matter the most to you. And now we can officially kickstart with the show, Antonia. Yeah.
Great.
So maybe before we start, maybe you can do a short introduction of yourself. What were you doing, and what were you doing prior to you starting the book, get you started to write the book, and what is the book all about? and maybe you can share it with us to the audience, especially for those who are new to you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kenneth.
No problem.
So I started my career as a teacher, as I mentioned, and I've been a teacher for a long time. I love my job because I think I can make a difference in the lives of children. And more recently, I'm an instructional coach where I work with teachers so that they help the children in their classrooms more effectively and make a better contribution for them. And while I was teaching, as I mentioned, I love my job, but I've always had sort of a feeling of, I wonder if there's something more. I wonder if there's more contribution that I can make. And a couple of years ago, I decided I was going to take a sabbatical, so paid leave from my position, and take a year to do different things. And some of the things that I did were planned. I went traveling with my son. We traveled through Europe for 3 months. We did homeschooling. So those things were planned. But then there were also some things that happened that weren't planned, that just kind of organically developed. One was that I became a wellness advocate for essential oils because I think they contribute a lot to people's health and wellness. And when I was doing that, by sharing with other people, I noticed that I was making a difference in people's lives by helping them to care for the health and wellness of their families and to further their financial situation. And then also while I was homeschooling with my son, I was looking for different projects, different things that we could do together, different things we could work on. And I came across online an author's workshop, how to write a book. And I thought, well, this would be cool for us to do together. So I signed up, not realizing that it really wasn't for the kids, it was just for adults. So then I kind of put it out of the way, and I didn't really think about it so much until the last day of school. So on the last day that my son and I were doing homeschooling together at the end of the year, I sent him off with his dad, and it occurred to me that it was the last day that we were doing this together, and it was such a special year, spending the whole year together. So I was very sad, and I was crying, the big sob, and I was left to my own devices because my son had gone off with his dad, my boyfriend was out playing sports, my friends were celebrating the last day of school. And so I didn't really know what to do with myself. And I went into my emails to sort of distract myself. And I saw this workshop that I had signed up for that was starting that very same day, 45 minutes later in downtown Ottawa. And I had to make a decision. Was I going to stay at home and mope and cry, or was I going to go out and learn something? And so off I went to the workshop, and at the workshop was a 3-day workshop with Jerry Roberts, our publisher, and we learned a lot about writing a book, and that's where my book was born, because from all of the things leading up to it, the wanting to make a difference and wanting to empower people and wanting to have people live better lives, live the lives that they want, I decided that I would be able to write a book for mothers with all of my teaching experience and being a mother myself.
Wow. So are you currently still teaching, or are you just an instructional coach or instructional?
I'm an instructional coach, so I work with teachers, and some of that work is just with teachers, spent planning and discussing and talking about evaluation and how to deliver curriculum. But I also spend time in classrooms with the students and teachers working together.
Okay, is it like a full-time thing, or is now more of a part-time?
It's a full-time job. It's a demanding job, but it's a great job. I love it.
Okay, because I'm not very sure whether we have that in Singapore, but it's really something that you are like facilitating and helping the teachers to get the curriculum out, or is that how it works?
Yes. So we talk about different strategies to address the needs of all the children. And we practice those strategies and we implement them and see how they work and improve student learning.
Wow. I don't, this is the first time I hear that even teaching you need strategy.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, that's very interesting insight, especially hearing from you. And what makes you want to write a book like that? Like with the topic you've got this mom. What inspired you to write this?
Well, I think part of it is my personal experience, going through the challenges of today's world and seeing the different things that we have to face and that we have to overcome. And sometimes you feel like you're not enough, like there's too much going on, things are complicated, things are demanding, but I want people to realize, I want moms to realize, parents to realize that they are enough, that they have what they need to be the best parents for their children. So it's a book to empower people, to encourage them to embrace their greatness, to encourage them to take care of themselves so that they can take care of their children.
That's very inspiring, and especially from you coming with 12 years of motherhood, because your son is now 12 years old, with all that being shared in the book. And what are the common challenges that you can share that a woman is facing now or mom is facing now compared to the past? What are the common challenges that in the past they do not have?
I think, Kenneth, our world today has changed a lot. It's become a lot more complicated and it's become a lot more demanding than it was in the past. For example, we have a lot of things on the go that our parents didn't have. We have so many things, even materialistically, for example, that demand our time. There's so much choice in what to buy and what to have, and there's pressure to have a bigger, better house, and there's a pressure to provide so much for your kids, and with technology, and there's always the newest gadget, and there are all kinds of toys now. So there are these kinds of things from media and consumption that we have to deal with. There's also in our society, the change is accelerating. So things are constantly moving, things are constantly changing, and we have to try and we feel like we have to keep on top of everything. And so that's kind of a demand on us. There's also social media that is very different. And not only do we spend a lot of time on social media, so sometimes it drains our time, but it's also the way that we look at things. And sometimes when we're on social media, we feel like other people might be better than us, and we compare ourselves to the stories that we see without realizing that the stories that we see are really the best that people have to offer. When you go on social media and you post things, you don't post the challenges that you're dealing with every day. You don't post that you don't feel like doing the dishes and things are piling up in the laundry. What you post is, oh, we're on vacation, we're having a great time, we have the most beautiful life. And so if you're just focusing on the positive things that you're seeing that other people are doing, you might feel like you're lacking a little bit. So these are some of the challenges that we have today that our parents didn't have. And even I would go so far as to say we have another challenge in that we want to have balance in our lives. And I think this balance can be elusive because you sort of, when you talk about balance, you expect that everything is going to be perfect all of the time, and that's kind of balance. But that's really unattainable, and I think you can have everything, but maybe not all at the same time.
Yeah, and what you mentioned is very true, especially on the social media. Like even for parents, we are also being consumed by the social media, and we are always very mindful of what is being posted out. We always want to share the best the fun, and not all the challenges, all the downside. But there's definitely people that want to share maybe their rant, like they keep on ranting, complaining, and saying injustice. But definitely there are a lot of negative. But at the same time, like you mentioned, they are sharing also the good part of them, which most of us as maybe as friends in Facebook, we will say, oh, Kenneth is doing good, Kenneth is this and that. But in fact, is he doing that good? That is a big question mark.
Yeah.
So we
And
like,
they don't see all of the hard work that you're doing to be doing that good.
correct. So it's always, people always see the tip of the iceberg, and they always adore and idolize wildly successful people like Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett. But what are the things that they have went through? Have you seen them?
Mm-hmm.
Because only the time that you seen them is when they are successful. And even for a parent, we don't see how the parents gone through the struggles, gone through the late nights, gone through the frustration and all that. And always they will always see that, hey, Kenneth is with the daughter, happy, stuff like that. But do they know what happened behind the scene?
That's right.
And typically for us human, we tend to want to show the good side of us. We do not want to show the bad, because we do not want to use our bad to influence other people. But sometimes, in fact, the bad does help a lot. Like recently, I've done some posts. I talk about the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like currently doing this live show every Monday weekly, and I've been doing it for 8 9 months. And why am I doing this? So that's where I share. And in fact, when I share this vulnerability, people tends to get more attention, because not many people are willing to face their weakness, or face the truth. And this, we need to have more of such, because um, life is not a bed of roses. Life is
Yeah.
not that beautiful, but it's definitely a journey that we will enjoy. And you talk about the challenges that the mother face, and also you being a teacher and helping to give back, which is also, you see there's a lot of challenges that teachers are facing. I believe that teachers are also facing, because times are different, the world is changing, the children that is attending school are also changing. They are different from back then, when we were young, when we were in school. There's a lot of distraction, there's a lot of mobile gadgets. And recently I have this friend that was telling me that, hey, in fact, now the internet is even smarter than the teacher, because they can ask like the internet, like Siri, who is the 19th president of USA? And this question the teacher may not be able to answer, because information is moving so fast, and teachers
Yeah.
have to evolve. That's where, when I hear, oh, you guys need to come up with strategy how to help this student and stuff like that, which in the past I believe that teachers just go through the curriculum, and that should be it, right? But now it
Yeah.
has to evolve.
Yes, I think teaching practice is evolving from away from content and more towards developing skill sets in
Yep.
students and helping students become students citizens who will be able to communicate well and think critically and be digitally aware. So I think I think the role of teachers is changing.
Yes,
For
yes.
sure.
Yeah, and I see that, and it's also challenging, because the teachers also come from the old school curriculum and learning, and even teachers are now evolving. I believe even as a mother is a teacher to our children. And for you, what are the challenges? Like you are a veteran teacher, and at the same time you are a mom. So what are the challenges that you face? Because teaching other people's children and teaching your own children is totally different. So what are the challenges that you face, or you feel that, hey, I'm able to balance that, I'm able to juggle both as a mom and also a teacher?
Well, I think one of the important things is to keep communication open. So be able to talk to your child and have your child talk to you about what's happening in school and how they're doing. Keep an open communication as well with the teachers, so that you're abreast of the progress that your child is making. I had the opportunity to homeschool my son Mathieu for a year, and that was an incredible experience. And it really helped. It helped in a lot of ways our relationship, because not only was he learning, but I was learning with him, and I was learning about him. And I think that's really important, is to know your child and know how they learn, and so that you can support them and have a good communication and good relationship with the teachers, for sure. So that everybody, because everybody wants the same thing for the child. Everybody wants the child to grow and to develop and to learn. Everybody wants the best for the child.
And you were saying that, because I'm just curious that being a teacher, why is the homeschool taught in you? Or is it just you want to try it out, or you have already know the challenges of homeschooling? Because you as a teacher, it will be better for you to put your son in the school for them to learn. And why does that thought of even homeschooling comes in?
Well, I think what happened was, because I took that sabbatical year and I decided that I wanted to do some traveling with my son. So while we're traveling, he can't be in school. So that's when we started doing the homeschooling and learning together. And as we were doing that, we both enjoyed it very much, and he was progressing quite well. So when we came back, his dad and I gave him the choice whether he wanted to go back to school for the rest of the year or continue homeschooling with me, because I was at home. And hands down, he wanted to continue the homeschooling. He didn't even hesitate, and he still thinks of it as one of the best years in his schooling. And I think public education is great, and I mean, obviously, because I'm a teacher and I work to help improve the system and teaching in general. But this was more a connection with my son. So it was all about the two of us working together and connecting and spending time together. And it's precious time, because I'll never get to spend that much time with him again. Right now he's growing, he's getting bigger, he's got his own interests. And
Wow. I guess that is something that a normal public education will not be able to give, which is the bonding, which is the communication, which is the relationship at the time that you're able to spend together, really like every day, and really more intimate. And at the same time, you being a teacher, you're able to assist him in education. Will you think that if a mother who's not a teacher is able to homeschool in that sense?
I think there are a lot of resources available for parents who want to homeschool and who aren't teachers themselves. There are a lot of resources now, and on there are Facebook groups for mothers who want to do homeschooling, parents who want to do homeschooling. There seems to be an increasing movement, actually, for homeschooling, and I think people who have that opportunity realize that it's as you mentioned, it's a great way to bond and to develop a lasting, meaningful relationship with your child.
Why do you think that, like you were seeing the increase of people doing homeschooling? Why is that so? Other than the bonding, the relationship, is there any other reason than that of increase of homeschooling?
Well, I suppose one of the reasons could be the changing role of education in our society, and parents wanting wanting to equip their children with the values and the knowledge that they deem most important. And I think parents are a lot more educated now than they were before. In general, our society is a lot more educated. So I think parents themselves are critical thinkers, and they maybe have a lot more opinions on how they want their child to learn.
Yep. I totally agree with that, and because as compared to the past where most of our parents are not educated, like especially in Singapore, because back then they were still in the third world country, and now we have been moving from underdeveloped and to developing, and now developed country in Singapore. And you mentioned that now parents are more educated, both the father and the mother are also educated at the same time, and that also allows them to have more option and for them to really look into homeschooling, because back then I would say the homeschooling maybe for those who are educated, because they are aware of that, they are able to teach their children at home. That's where the homeschooling comes in. But now it makes it even easier, because most parents now are both educated and they are able to do that. And at the same time, you mentioned that you have this guilt, this worry, and self-doubt after you became a mom. So my question would be like, why is that only occurs after you became a mom and not when before you became a mom? Why is that? Why is that so?
Before you become a parent, your whole life is revolving around yourself and what you're doing and how you're doing, and the person that you're making decisions for is you, and you do what you think is right for yourself. But when you have a child now, the responsibility, if you have more responsibility, it's not just for yourself, you have the responsibility for this child. And who knows what the world is going to look like when that child grows up, and who knows what the child is going to need, and as a parent, then those are things that start to sort of percolate, and you wonder if you're spending enough time with your child, and you wonder if you're doing the right things for your child, if you're encouraging them in the right things. When you're and there's no course in how to be a good mom
parent,
or how to be a good dad, right?
Yes.
There's
no step-by-step guidebook.
Right?
Yeah.
So you don't know, and you hear, there's so many opinions out there, and that's another thing in our, we're talking about our society is changing. We have so much information, but that also means there's a lot of different opinions out there and a lot of different information available, and sometimes it's hard to sift through that, and you wonder, well, maybe this isn't the right way to do things, or maybe there's another way to do things. Then you worry about how you're raising your child and what the decisions are that you're making. And then when you finally do make the decisions, then you wonder, was that the right decision to make? And really, you'll only be able to know that once your child grows up and and you see how resilient they are, and you see how they're able to navigate their own world, and how confident they are and how joyful they are in their life.
So do you see that a lot of parents, like nowadays parents, do you think they get a lot of their parenting methods from their parents, or is totally the reverse of it?
I think we'll always look to our parents for an example, and our kids as well. When we do things with our kids, they're always watching. They all are always aware of what's going on, and that's how they learn. They learn by watching, and then by repeating what you're doing.
Correct. Modeling.
So, modeling, right? And that's so important. So yeah, we want to make sure, I want to make sure that when my son is looking at me, he sees someone who is capable and who's able to navigate different things that are happening in their life, and someone who's resourceful and resilient, so that he sees how I do things, and then he'll be able to do those things in his own life.
And this also brings us to why is it important for you to be the role model for your child and to be a strong, independent, caring, and capable woman? Why is it important for you to be that role model?
For me, it's important because I want my son to have that example so that he himself can be those things. I think if we talk about, as parents, we talk about what we want our children to be like when we grow up,
Yeah.
and how they're going to become those things. So for example, you want your child to be kind. Well, the way to do that is to model kindness and to show them what kindness looks like, and then they see you being kind, and then it just becomes a normal part of their being. They'll be kind. You want your child to be resourceful, so you have to show them that you can be resourceful as well, and that you can find the solutions to your problems and make those tough decisions in your own life. If you want your child to be resilient and to know that, oh, there's going to be struggles in life, and that's normal, that's the surviving part of life, that you sometimes feel like you're overwhelmed and you have a lot of decisions to make and you're trying to balance things, and you want to see your child do that so that they'll have those skills when that falls to them, and that then they'll be able to get through those struggling, surviving times and come out the other side thriving in their life, and focusing on the things that they have and the blessings that are in their life and what they can do, feeling capable and feeling that they can meet the challenges and demands of their own life.
Wow. And you mentioned about like you have to be the one, which is like you are walking the talk. Is that one of the reason why you have decided to write a book? And it kind of like, it's like you were sharing with me that you're kind of like introvert, but you are stepping out from the comfort zone. Is that also
Yeah.
one of the way to show to your son that, hey, mommy um is stepping out of her comfort zone. She's trying to be a better version of herself, and she's trying to be a capable woman and independent and able to impact a lot of people by being a caring person. Is that so? Is that one of the reasons?
Absolutely, and you're so right. I am naturally introverted, and I like to do the writing. That's why I'm an author. I write, and I write a blog. But when I have to go out and talk in front of people like today, that's not as easy for me. And there's a little element of fear there. But you know what? I think we have to embrace that little fear, because where there's no fear, there's no learning, right?
You're right.
There has to be that little bit of dissonance so that you can go out and try something new and face that fear. That's what being brave is. And you want your children to do the same thing. You want your children to make an impact in the world. You want to let them know that they can do it. And so you want them to know that they've got this. So if you want them to know they've got this, then you have to have this, right?
Yes. You're totally right. And I like it when you say that you have to do it. And that's where I see a lot of parents, they always tell their children to do something, but they're not doing, they're not walking the talk. And because like you mentioned that our children see what we do, not hear what we say, which is what a lot of parents are doing. They are saying, but they're not doing, and expecting their children to do what they want or what they say. And for you, you're a very good example. Like before we start, I also mentioned that, hey, you look a bit different. You are like you talk more. You have that smile, which is every time I see you is you're getting better, and also getting comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Thank you, Kenneth.
Yeah. And I can see that you are losing, like you are quite loose now. You're loose enough, and you're moving, you're smiling, and the way you talk has changed. And I guess that has comes with you overcoming of speaking, and also to face what you fear, and it's a very, very good example for our children, because I believe that in their time when they are out in the society to work, they will face even more challenges and they have to face the fear. And for parents, like you say, we have to get this before they can get it. So you being a good role model is also a very good role model for a lot of parents, a lot of mothers out there, to really embrace the fear and also to overcome, so that we will be good role models for our children, not by saying, not by doing, not by putting them to the good school, but we ourselves being good role models so that our children will model. Yeah. And
Absolutely. And as we go through our lives, I think our lives are constantly evolving. We're evolving as people, and we're learning. Life is it's a lifelong journey of learning, and I don't think you ever stop learning.
Yep.
So I think it's important for our kids to realize that, and to know that, so that they learn from that experience. And to face your fears, but also to look for the joy in your life. I think that's really important, to have that perspective, because really in your life you look for evidence of what you believe. And if you believe that your life is good and things will work out for you, then you're going to look for the evidence for that. If you believe that life will bring you joy, then you're going to look for the things that make you joyful. And I think that's really important as parents. We have a responsibility to show our children how we get through the hard times in life, and how we deal with situations of the heart and the mind and the spirit and the body, being whole ourselves, so that they can see what that looks like.
Yeah, and I like the part where you talk about parents, us as parents facing difficulties, facing a situation that we need to manage, and also to allow our children to know that, hey, mummies, daddy, we are human, we are not perfect. We also have to deal with a lot of problems. So we will let you see that we are dealing with all these problems, so that you will be able to manage them in the future. Where I see a lot of, I guess is, as parents, we do not want our children to worry too much about our problem, but at the same time, by not showing them that we are human, we also have problems, we need to solve problems, and sometimes we can't solve every problem. We have to let them see that. If not, when they go out to the real world and they realize that, hey, the world is not that perfect without my mom and dad, and that will crush them, that will really crush them. And that's why I believe that a mom who's pursuing her passion, or a mom is stepping into entrepreneurship, you are independent, you face all the vulnerability, and also the challenges, the difficulties, the downside, and you going through every hurdle is a good lesson for your children to take it as life lessons, that they may not be able to have it in the future. And time really flies, and we're almost coming to the end of the show, and really thankful, Antonia, for sharing so much. And maybe you can share with the audience, how can they get connected with you, and and what are the various ways they can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. So you can connect with me on Facebook at You've Got This Mom. That's to go with my book.
Yep.
And you can read my blog as well. I have a blog on my website at antoniacetin.com. I would love actually to connect with you and to hear ideas that you have and your thoughts on being a mother and entrepreneurship and finding life balance, because that would I would like to use those ideas for further blogs so that I could talk to the needs of the people that I'm connecting with. So you've got this mom.com, antoniacetin.com, and Facebook at You've Got This Mom.
Wow.
And Kenneth, I wanted to say that I really appreciate your inspirational podcast and all of the important work you do connecting moms. I'm grateful for for you for creating this platform that allows moms to share and learn from each other, and to realize that they're not alone and that they have
Yes.
so much to offer each other.
Yes, yes. You're welcome, and I'm glad that it gave you a lot of value, and you are one of the few that really watch other episodes to get yourself prepared, get yourself ready. I really appreciate of it, and I'm glad that you have some being you are being inspired to even to see that, hey, other mothers, they can do it, I can do it, and now you're on my show, and it's so encouraging that to see that you have, I would say, transformed from the first time we go on Zoom till now. You have transformed, and your book is coming out. I'm really really excited because the moment that I saw your book title, it caught me. Like, you got this, mom. I was like, okay, I need to connect with Antonia. That was what happened when I saw that, and I, instead of you coming to me, I came and look for you and get you
And I'm
connected.
so glad you did.
Yes, yes, yeah. And now I'm so excited for your book to come out, and for you to share and empower more mommy out there, and to tell them that you got this, mom. So it sounds so how should I put it? Yeah, it's really really cool. And last but not least, like there's a tradition for the show. Now it's your turn to post the question of the day out to the audience and also to the next guest. So are you ready with your question of the day, Antonia?
I am. So
Yes.
in my book and on my blog and in my life, I encourage moms, parents, people to live the life that they love.
Mm.
So my question is, what would make your life the life that you love? What brings you joy?
Okay, so I will use what brings you joy, is it?
Yes.
What brings you joy? Okay. So Antonio's question of the day is, what brings you joy? Short and sweet. This question of the day goes out to the audience and also go out to the next guest. So the next guest, get ready for this question of the day posted by Antonia. And last but not least, Antonia, any last advice for the mothers who are sitting on the fence, thinking whether should they pursue their passion or they should step into entrepreneurship? Any last advice for them, Antonia?
Yes, I think that some advice would be to remember yourself. As a parent, we can sometimes forget about ourselves because we have so many demands, the demands of parenthood, keeping our household going, raising our children, that it's important to remember yourself, remember your passion, and embrace that fear that might be there, the fear of trying something new, doing something different. Look for the joy in the different parts of your life, so that will keep you going and keep you sustained. Embrace your greatness and remember that you are perfect and whole.
Yeah, yeah. That is very, very, very good advice for all the mothers and also for all the parents out there. And you have touched on a very strong point is they have to take care of themselves, which I've been talking about it with a lot of other guests, that mothers, remember to have self-love and self-care. You have to take care of yourself before you can take care of your children, your family.
Absolutely.
Like I always share, like whenever you take a plane in the in-flight instruction, when there's emergency, when a gas mask drop, put it on yourself first, save yourself first before you put the gas or oxygen mask for your children. So this works in life the same. If you don't take care of yourself, I don't think you want your child to take care of you, because the child needs a lot of nurturing and all that. So you have to be the one to really put on the oxygen mask, save yourself, then you save your children. And that is what Antonia have just shared, to really take care of yourself so that you can take care of your family members along the way. And once again, thanks Antonia for making time for my Mother Industry Live show. And once again, thank you very much. For those who are watching and listening, thanks for watching and thanks for tuning in. And last but not least,
thanks for having me on your show.
No problem, always welcome. And I look forward to see your book out, and also to maybe we can do another episode of you having your book on the show. And last but not least, Kenneth here signing off, and Antonia. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you. See you. Bye,
Bye,
Antonia.
Kenneth. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye, everyone.